Man, my internet is just fantastic. Well, to give a recap of this previous week, I was very frustrated over just the whole, job nonsense. And there was a franchise that I applied for last week 5 times on Friday, and then 25 times on Tuesday. Um, so altogether, it was 30 times. And I believe it was either all over the place. They were all of the different restaurants that were probably all like they were around 30, 40, 50 miles apart from each other, just across the whole damn state. I don't want to say it's the whole state, but certainly they were far away from each other. So I went to the first one, and the person, or I guess the manager there, offered me a position. I accepted it, and then he told me what stuff to fill out, and I've done that since. I haven't heard anything from him. Um, so I went to the second one, which was with this woman, and she was like extremely just generic, unauthentic. They are. How just everything is okay. I have to interview somebody, so let's get this over with. Even if they try to like show enthusiasm, fake enthusiasm, you can still feel a sense of, this is just what they're told to do for their job, so they do it. They don't really care one way or the other. Um, Even when they try to smile and act like you're the most interesting person in the world. But she mentions that they have 100 people who've applied for jobs, so I already know how that what that means. Um, God, I hate that so much. But anyways, after that, I decided to not go to the third one, which is like another 2 hours, because I'm really just worn out. These are all like 30, 40, 50 miles away from each other. And I'm not kidding. It feels like, because I applied for 30 positions, right? And I've had about 3 interviews. By the way, the third one was on Friday, and I love this so much. This lady who's got nothing but tattoos on her arms, asked me questions. Oh, sometimes we get busy, and do you think you'll be able to adjust? I said, like, as far as asking me if I think I'll be able to adjust with, I said, sure, as long as I'm showing how to do these things and at least given some semblance of, time to get an idea of how to do these things, I think I'll be fine. Um, but yeah, that bastard sent me an email yesterday, and I remember it was her because I remember the location. Just trying to doing the whole like thing where they make it sound like they want you, and then they give you a nice kick in the back. But I'm not kidding. It feels like every day I wake up, because it's always in the morning when they send this stuff. It happened literally before I started streaming. I woke up, I look at my email. Thanks, but no thanks. It's getting really obnoxious. So I said things are just so backwards. Like, it's not enough to apply to the same place, or at least the same franchise 10 times, 20 times. You can apply 30 times. And then it's not even enough to apply to many times and go to several interviews. You also have to, like, I don't even know at this point what to do. It's just so hard to be excited about a lot of this stuff. There's like I'm not kidding, every time you think this little like obnoxious thing with these employers is going to lead to something, it's always the same old stuff. They will sit here and they will blow smoke right up your backside for nothing. Like, I'm astonished by just how good some of these people are at acting so impressed. I told the lady to her face on either Wednesday or Thursday I should just give up when I heard about the 100 people applying. Like, and again, they say stuff like that, whether it's true or not. and I'll at least give them the benefit of the doubt when, as far as like why would they lie about it, like on purpose to intimidate you. Like, look at how popular of a restaurant we are. That's why we have 100+ people applying. Oh man, like I said earlier this year, when I had all those stupid caregiver positions, right, where you got to help the person that is not feeling well or whatever. I kept saying I was open to doing it. I was up for doing it. And then what happened? We had these places play with me, right? They have you come for these interviews and it goes nowhere. And I honestly just got sick of it. Like, the two jobs I would keep seeing over and over on that stupid website were caregiver and behavioral technician, or something to that effect. And it's basically, you either do a job where you help the elderly, or you do a job where you help, like, children that may have some kind of learning disabilities, etc. And both of these I was open to doing, and certainly met the qualifications of. But when you have places that are just like, they're doing the same two things over and over. They don't hire people after they sit there and waste their time with all of these, BS interviews. Or and this is my favorite thing, um they create some type of circumstance that is totally not ideal for you. So like I said, when they were talking about, you need your high school diploma for if you want to do the behavioral technician. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and go to the length of digging for that thing slash trying to pull up some transcripts that haven't mattered in years, just so you guys can have me work part-time for like 2, 3, 4 weeks and then fire me. Like, it's stupid. But no, after just seeing how much of a circus that thing with those same two types of jobs, where even if they were by different places, it was always the same result. They sit there and do the interview and then nothing comes out of it. I said, look, I'm done applying for that stuff. I'm done even like pretending to be excited about that crap, especially after, I believe it was the week before, it was earlier this month, where I mentioned there was an interview for the behavioral thing, where it was supposed to be me and two other people being interviewed by this lady, and the two other people didn't even show up. And I sit here and answer all the stupid lady's questions, and by the end of it, uh, you know, she makes it sound like, "Oh, you're so interesting. Da, 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 tell me about yourself." Da, da," and then nothing. Just, "Oh, thanks, but no thanks." Rejection letter a couple of days later. You just get sick of that. Like, I'm not joking. I just get tired of seeing no every other, what feels like every day. Especially when these same bastards are going to be right back on these websites, begging for people to apply for their trash. Well, thank you so much for applying, but we have decided to not move forward with your application. And like 1, 2, 3 months later, here they go. And I mentioned before, I've seen it. I'll never forget, there was a dog place. I applied for them over the summer of last year, and they told me, "We already found somebody else. Thanks for applying." Right after I applied, so they like, no interview, nothing. Then about 3 or 4 months later, those same bastards, and I know it was the same place because they're not like a big business. They have like a specific branch that I remember the location of. Uh, they were like, "Hey, you want to come in for an interview tomorrow at da da da?" And it's like, you do all this stuff, you drive to all these places, you waste all this gas, or even if you're not using gas, Uber money or whatever, all that just for nothing. It's such a just complete waste of time for everybody involved. And I love the ego on these people. They always act like they have succeeded in their mission. Ooh, look at me. I was able to get somebody to apply to my stupid position, even though the exact same job is just going to get rid of this person and have somebody else doing it in a few weeks or months. But shh, be very, very quiet. God, employers over here are I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know what they want. Seriously, I've sometimes sat back at night just wondering. I put my alarm on because I was trying to make sure I woke up. But I've sometimes sat back at night, not tossing and turning, but just wondering like what do these people need? Like you get a guy who says he'll work anytime you need him. He's available whenever. He admits to you, hey, if I don't know how to do this, I'll tell you. You know, if I need help with something, I'll tell you. And even with all of this transparency, even with all of this availability, I mean, I don't like it's crazy to me how they do this. They sit here and they still are like, well, we decided not to move forward with you. We have gone with another candidate. It's like, when does this end? I'm not kidding. I've really sat back wondering, like, is there ever going to be a proper conclusion to this? Are we going to just spend every year applying for these stupid jobs that aren't even going to hire anybody anyway? Like I'm tired of filling out applications. I'm tired of driving around the state like a madman. It's all just really obnoxious. Drive here, drive there, drive everywhere. I'm not kidding at all. I was just sitting back thinking like on what was that Wednesday? It was that there's no way that was less than like 70 miles. It was crazy just driving all over the place. I had to refill my tank because it was getting so low. It was And again, the part that drives me crazy is you're expected to do all of that driving for nothing. Like you're going to just keep traveling around the state, getting nothing out of this extended journey of yours other than your time wasted and more, your time and gas wasted. And then even if you do it like on the because a lot of these places they just love having you come in for the stupid interviews. Even if you do it over the phone, it still goes to nothing. Or they go, "Oh, okay, well, thanks for passing the phone interview. Now do one in person." And you do in person one. Oh, thanks, but we don't want you. That's why I asked, where does it end? How many times do you have to sit here and have your hopes dashed and your wishes spit on before you get to strike back? You get to say, you know what? I'm tired of this. It's annoying. To hell with it. Seriously, where's the conclusion? Because I know for a fact that you can apply for 30 positions with the same company, 90 positions within the span of a month, or hell, even 200, 300 positions across an entire year, and you still won't have a damn job. Person gonna talk about, oh, it's all you always say it's the company. Like, yeah. When you have someone who's open to working for somewhere and they do all the stuff that the stupid employer tells them to do and they don't get hired, it's the employer's fault. It's like I'll never forget. I went over there that interview with with that retirement home, and the bastards running that place took so long to speak to me. Like, yeah, it was 40 minutes. I got there early, and they didn't talk to me until I'd been there for over half an hour and almost a full hour, to where I was actually getting close to leaving, or just being like, all right, to hell with it. And it's like, how do you have somewhere like that where they just don't, you know, they're not even on time for their own trash, and it's not even like, hey, it's on the computer. No, like when you go to their location, they're not on time for their own thing that they scheduled, but somehow it's your fault if you don't get hired. Like, who you want to work for someone like that? The bastards that will have you sitting here for a whole hour while they do nothing except stare at you. That's exciting. I just find that insane. That's why I said everything is all designed around you must have done this, you must have done that. It's just I'm tired of it. God, look at all these employers. Everything to them is a joke. They love sitting there and just getting high off of all the people that apply to them and wasting everyone's time. Mm. That's why I said, why would I enjoy participating in a system that is set up on purpose to make everything miserable for me? Like there's no relief in this at all. But you're supposed to keep applying, you're supposed to keep trying, you're supposed to just keep just oh, and then of course if you don't get hired, it's your fault somehow because the most plain man of all time is more than a saying or a nice tagline. It is an accurate description. I'm serious. The more this stuff happens, the more embargoes I'm putting up. Like after that thing where from like January all the way up until last month, we would have all these stupid caregiver and behavioral technician jobs where it's just over and over and over again. You sit down for interviews, they talk you up. And what which really caused me to just say, you know what, I'm sick of both of you. Were the interviews this past month where one of these bastards had me drive all the way like 60 miles to and from their stupid headquarters, sit me down, ask me a bunch of questions, tell me all types of stuff about what the job was like, et cetera, just for it to go nowhere. And the other one tried to sit me down for for this Zoom interview where the other two people didn't even show up. And then they still are like, yeah, one person that's here, nothing. So I just said, look, this game has gotten just totally irredeemable, where it's the same thing. They ask for an interview, you show up to it, they feign interest in you, and then nothing happens. They post on that same stupid site, and then a few months later, they're back to doing the exact same thing. We saw this with that piece of garbage lady back in April that had me sit down for a phone interview, then a Zoom interview, then said we're going to hire you, give us some references, fill out these papers. I fill all that stuff out. Few days of them giving me complete cold shoulder, no response. Thank you so much for the time you took to speak to us. We have decided to move forward with man. When I read that email, I want to just slam my computer against the wall. It's like, at what point does this stop? I'm really sick of filling out applications and driving here, travel there. Like I've got another person from that same place that wants me to interview with them on Wednesday. I think it's like 9 in the morning, to 8, 8 in the morning, whatever. I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna say, hey, so do you actually are you looking to hire anybody? Because I've now driven to multiple faraway interviews for nothing. Like I'm tired of this. Honestly, when that lady said she had 100 people applying, I should have just got up and walked away. I should be like, okay, I have no chance. Thank you. Like, I normally don't like to do overtly rude stuff, but it's too much. Like, it's too much to get gassed up about these things and just have no payoff. I'm very serious when I say how much longer can we play this stupid game? That's why I hate a lot of these relatives so much because they love pretending that if you want a job, you can just click your heels and suddenly you have one. They convince themselves that things are much easier than they actually are. It's amazing. And of course, at the same time as they're feigning concern about you having a position, they always make sure to not actually help you with getting one. That's a hallmark. But yeah, I'm very serious when I say I'm just tired of this whole thing. Like it's all really obnoxious. There's been a lot of time wasted, a lot of gas wasted. And I just don't know how much more of it I can put up with. But I really do feel like there are certain things now where I'm not doing it anymore. Like all that whole thing with those two same types of jobs on that website, I'm through with them. Anytime I see them posting something, I look the other way because I know it's a scam. It's just they're just there to waste time and collect information. They're not hiring anybody. Um, with a lot of the other ones I see in real life, I'm more likely to do things with it. I guess this situation with this restaurant's really discouraged me because it's like they want you to come in for all of these interviews, and these places are not close by either. And I think I said before, they had, well, they let you schedule them, but I had 3 of them in one day, all this driving around, and here I am almost a week later still sitting on my couch or on my chair or whatever, and still not employed by any of these people. So, was it worth it? I don't think so. And the part that I really find the most ironic is they will sit here and make the people who apply for their jobs just sound like we're nothing. Oh, I'm going with another candidate. And guess what? A month later, 8 weeks later, 3 months later, you see that same exact place looking for someone to apply. Because they don't have open positions like that just for no reason. They go through people. People try to work for them. They treat them like trash. The person quits, and then somebody else, springs up to try and, put up with the misery for a little bit. Like seriously, I wasn't even looking forward to working around food again. But at least I said, you know what, this isn't the hardest stuff to cook. It's only the same couple, like few ingredients. So I think I'll be able to, understand it better than that other restaurant I was with some years ago where they had like 15, 16, 17 different um things you put on top of the stuff there. And I'm like that this is way too much, especially learning like 2 days. But I said, hey, this might be something I could do. If I'm given a few days to kind of like go over stuff. And it's sad that like you do all these things to work for these places and there's never a payoff. You drive to their stupid interview, they tell you to go and buy this, you buy that. You just it's nothing ever changes. It's the status quo. Just keep applying to jobs forever, keep getting blamed when they don't hire you forever. It's always your fault. Maybe when I apply for my 1000th job in the last 3 years, I can put myself on a cross at that point for reaching the desperation of employment reward. I swear these people just I don't know what they want. They are always looking to not hire somebody. They do in the smoke screen camouflage of wanting someone. That's why they put up the applications. Hey, just come on, try to apply. You never know, you might get hired. Yeah, we do know. Like I said, this thing drives me insane. Because seriously, how many times can you sit here and just keep putting up with this stuff? But that's why I said there is no resolution. There's never going to be a point where this stuff isn't, just like borderline impossible. Like, yeah, keep applying for jobs that are not going to hire you forever and ever and ever. Keep trying, even though you know it's going to lead to nothing, but just keep trying. I'm serious when I say at a certain point, you just get tired of it. You really just get sick of it. You say, I can't keep putting up with this. It's driving me absolutely insane. So to hell with it. That's why I posed the question. I said, at what point are you allowed to just throw your hands up and say, forget it? Because it'll be one thing if all the places were doing this little, like, over the phone nonsense, right? But they want you to come in. They want you to meet with them in person, bring over a bunch of documents. And it's just like you get all this information and nothing comes out of it. Seriously, when I went to the interview that was it was for this one of these stupid caregiver positions. I call them stupid, not the job itself, but just like the fact that that place or those types of jobs along with the behavioral technician are the ones that are like mostly playing around, like they're not serious. But I remember when I went there, I don't know if he was the manager, one of the people that worked there, they took the information down, etc. And it's like, why would they go out of their way to tell me to come all the way out here to schedule this interview went on for like 20, 30 minutes to like have it go nowhere. Like what sense does that make? And sure enough, I actually started to think when I came that Friday that maybe I'll get hired because why would they go to such lengths to have someone come out there that they don't want? But that's how demented they are. They like wasting people's time. They like sitting there and smiling in your face, "Hi," and then when nothing changes or gets any better, you're supposed to, like, go, I couldn't have foreseen this." No, we can foresee it, we just didn't want to see it because you like to hope that something different or better will happen, and when that doesn't, you have the right to get upset. That's why I said I'm just sick of the whole thing. Like, it's just stupid to me. "Hi, I'm someone who works at this job. Can you come here and meet with us so I can not hire you?" I really do feel tempted to call up the one that wants to interview and be like, "Hey, so are you guys actually looking for people? Are you having a whole bunch of people apply? Because I can just take my name out of the running now. I'm not gonna open like knowingly apply somewhere that 100 people are applying for. That's stupid. Like I said, like I had the people online to do the thing like, oh, you have an ego. I don't have enough an ego to think I'm gonna get picked over, that many. Love having you travel around the world so that you might get like a whiff of the stench of actually being hired by somebody. That's one of their favorite hobbies. They really do seem to offer and they're sick of interviews. I'm really tired of them. Tired of drive here, drive there, drive everywhere. That has truly lost its novelty. Thanks for applying. Now go to hell. And that's the part that gets me. They act like it's normal to just sit here and waste people's time like this, but I guess for them, they don't, I mean, it doesn't affect them. They're getting paid one way or the other, so why should they care? So I said this whole thing is just so. It's funny. I remember I had this rule at one point. I was like, I'm not going to drive to any place that is this far away anymore. It was like within, if you're not within, I think it was like 20 miles or something. I wasn't going to come over there. And I broke it because I was trying to like just out of like pure desperation, like, hey, can I at least get hired by somebody? But I'm not kidding when I say it really does seem like it's just impossible. It's just utterly non just that's why I said like every time I see a now hiring sign or some other type of BS to convince you that they need people, I don't believe it. It's all just lies. So I said, how many times are you gonna sit here and just put up with this stuff? Oh no, if I don't get hired, what am I gonna do? It's like, yeah, but if you waste all this gas and all this time with them, you're not any better off. So that's my point of how even when things don't seem, what's the way of putting it? Even when things seem like they're bad, the employer thing isn't making it any better. Like you're literally gaining nothing from doing all this stuff with these stupid places. Like I don't need to log into my email every day. Hey, thanks for applying, but we've decided to look the other way. I don't need to see that. That's what I said. They just love doing this nonsense, man. Over here, go there. Ooh, another one. Let's see what they said. Some of them that's another thing, some of them take so long to reply, I actually forget I even applied for them. You go through so many of them, they're talking about some delivery position. I don't even remember sending them anything. That probably must have been about a week or 2 ago. That's the price of filling all those applications. You just don't remember every single person that you, doing some goofy stuff to try and fool somebody. "Apply for this position," and then you apply, you hear nothing back. That's always the my favorite thing. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because we've already established that even when people have gone to school with these for these magic pieces of paper, they still end up getting jobs that have nothing to do with what they went to school for. So again, it's just another one of those things where they just do it for like just for the sake of formality. Like, hey, I have my degree. Okay, is this going to I remember I said before that, like, I watched someone where they got the degree and then they were still living with their parents. It's like, yeah, what progress? Like I said, now we're at a point where every time I go to the store, I see the same homeless person parked in their parking lot, and it is really scary because there was another car that was over there too doing the same thing. Where and I'm always surprised with that because a lot of these stores do the whole, 2-hour parking or whatever, but I guess they really just don't care. Uh 'Cause that was always my biggest concern of, like, being in the same place for too long, and then they would just do something to you. I swear they love playing up that whole angle. "Oh, please apply for our position, please." My favorite thing is when they start listing off the benefits, I'm like, "W the benefits don't mean anything to me if you guys don't hire me, so what is the point of this?" That's why I said they're on all types of levels of goofy. Man, I remember the first time I saw one of these articles, they were like, "Oh, if you apply for this, uh, we're going to make sure that you're gonna go over here." It's like, no, sorry, I don't believe in scams that have been proven. I apologize, but I like evidence. This whole thing is just such a giant heaping waste of time, I tell you. I was talking to this one guy on Discord, and he asked me, "Have you noticed?" Because we had another guy do something pretty similar to that, where they like show up and they start typing like weird stuff, and you've never seen them before, and you always have to remember it's all fake concern. Like there's nothing about them that could remotely be considered of any actual care for you. And he was asking me like, why do I think people do? I said, well, sometimes people want to believe they're better than they actually are. So when they give their little like goofy, unsolicited advice or you know, gestures. They think, "Oh, I'm helping this person," but they don't actually give a damn about that person. That's why you never see them. That's why they disappear from your channel pretty much throughout the whole rest of the year. It's all fake. We saw the same thing on which stream was that? Oh wow, not even 2 weeks ago. The Friday freakout, where it's like you're talking about this stuff, and this guy comes here, writing irrelevant crap, and then tries to pivot to asking you if you have a job or not. It's like, yeah, you don't care. If you did, you wouldn't be talking about this other thing. That's why I said these people just they do not think. Oh. Mm. I tell you that and that's the part I find so sad. Like, it's one thing to do the whole like internet troll, "Oh, you must have done this wrong, da, 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 da," but like they really do come around feigning interest in you, and it's so obnoxious. Like,
Hey man, I see you struggling. So
shut up. So I said they seem to come out of the clear blue sky. Nobody invited them, nobody asked them for help, but they're here to give it to us anyway. Imagine if real life was like that, if you were just sitting there and talking about how hard it was to get employed, and then suddenly some random stranger starts telling you about their 80K plan to their plot to make 80,000 in 6 months. Like, what are you talking about? That's why I said they're weird. Yeah, people go into all types of crazy online. Like the things they say, the way they act, it's all very strange. God, all these applications, man. At the end of the year, I'll probably make a whole video just showing how many I filled out. Because it starts getting kind of insane when and that was my point. It's like you're not just doing a few places. I mean, I can't tell how many days you'll do double digit applications, just 10, 20, 30, and like still nothing. So I said it's always a scam, always a sideshow. Telling you, I'm astonished by the I had a conversation about nuance, and it was like some people really would just like to have a job to, get by. So why do I need this weird dude on the computer who, as far as we can tell, is not even employed himself? Hey man, or you can do this job for 6 months and make 80,000. Like, what? I'm saying sometimes I think these people aren't even human beings. They act like bots designed on like by some kind of business or other organization to be like, hey, we need to ensnare people into this scam of ours, so randomly show up in their chats and talk about this thing nonstop. That's always the most fascinating part to me about live streams. You can have, like people who you put up a video, they say nothing. You put up another video, they say nothing. And then one day you're doing a stream, and here comes all these weird people just randomly appearing at different points. People who haven't watched you in a year, 2 years, 3 years. And you know what it is, a lot of them for 'cause I said before, most people don't unsubscribe from channels they don't watch anymore, so that's probably the first notification they've either seen or gotten from your channel since they just, like, stopped bothering to even keep up with it. So they go there to write something weird knowing that it's, some, like, dead zone where they're not gonna come back and ever try to actually watch your stuff. But like I said, the worst thing is the fake concern. Positivity. God, that stupid bastard doesn't know how many times I was positive about things. When I went to interview with the caregiver place, the one that was it was like 60 miles away from me. I was pretty optimistic about my prospects of getting hired by them because I figured why would they have me drive all the way out here for nothing? When I was interviewing with the stupid lady for the behavioral technician position. It's like the other two people quit, didn't even show up. Okay, well, there's no way they're going to mistreat the one person that actually came to their crap, right? But they did. So, this isn't about me being positive or negative. Negativity oftentimes is the direct result of some positive person being spit on every time they try to be optimistic about their prospects for the future. You know what it is? It's that same what's the word for it? There's a term for it. Oh, mind over matter. It's that same thing where because I said before, it's hard to blame someone for not having a position or a job or whatever when they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is applying for stuff, they go to interviews, etc. It's hard, like on paper, to blame them for that. So instead, you have to try to like put yourself in some kind of weird analytical space of discussing and dissecting their personality. Oh, you must have been negative. Oh, you must have not believed in yourself. Oh, it's like no, we're talking about someone who's pretty confident they can do the work, but the places are just not open to actually hiring that person. Never get the chance to prove that. That's why I said it was really obnoxious for people to pretend that applying for work is that like applying for jobs is just, it's so easy. Just if you want a job, just click your heels. Over here, we're so backwards that you could see 50 now hiring signs. Apply for every single one of them. And you might get some interviews. You might have this place tell you to go drive over here, meet us at 8 o'clock, etc. But as far as are you actually going to become an employee? No. Because they don't care. Like it doesn't matter to them. Mm. Like I said, at this point, I don't even know what to do anymore. It all just seems really impossible. And as I mentioned before, the same group of stupid um, people is just going to, sit there and blame me anyway. Because that's all they're good for, just sticking a finger in your face and telling you that you must have done something wrong. I wish these employers would attract their same scorn. I really do. So I said this whole thing is just insane. No, I'm really just I'm just sick of it. I'm sure I'll apply for some more stuff, within the week or the month or whatever, but I just feel the enthusiasm just sucked out of me. There are a lot of jobs in this state that really seem to get off on the idea of people applying for them in mass, which is why when you go and do their little dumb interviews, they tell you, "Hey, we have this many other people seeking out a position as well." I'm still laughing at that. I didn't even get to mention this, but like I remember for that restaurant that wanted me to drive for them. I didn't even mention that when they were talking about their uniform, they said they don't want you to have pants that are faded. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing in the world to me because when you do restaurant work and you're like running around, picking this up, bending over, your stuff is probably not going to look squeaky clean, you know, um, just gradually. So basically, that's their way of getting you to spend even more money to, to work for them. Like when you work for them, rather. They want you to have faded pants. I'm like, dude, you said black pants. If it's black and like you can look at the front and kind of see it's getting a little bit lighter up there. Like, who cares, man? It's stupid. That's why I said it's just dumb stuff. Like they really are on some kind of, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really regret not taking that position because for the reasons I laid out before. But also, I just think a lot of times these places do stuff related to their uniform or other types of materials they want you to have that are designed to get you to spend money on additional crap for their stupid position, even unnecessarily so. Like at least if you're doing one of these food jobs, they want you to have food and handler, carquet, whatever that's certified by the state, etc. But when you're talking about working somewhere where you have to get up and bend over and do all of these physical activity, not sitting at a desk, you're doing all these physical activities, and they're complaining that your pants are faded. Like what? We want our employees to look. It's like, dude, get out of my face. Anyone that's working somewhere where it's manual labor and they have to get on the floor and run over here, their stuff is probably going to get a little roughed up. Like as far as the holes thing, it's one that's one thing we're talking about. Oh, we don't you have holes in your pants, but when you're talking about the like inspecting the color of the man, that's why I said it's all just goofy. And at the same time as these people are telling you what types of pants they want you to have or what how dark they are or whatever, they're also completely fine with having you drive to people's houses with nothing to defend yourself in case they decide to become violent on you. so many interviews. That's why I said that I live in the twilight zone, because only in that type of bent up version of reality could you see so many places, going on this angle of, oh, we want you to work for us. That's why we're gonna sit here and not actually hire you. If you apply for one position, 10 positions, 20 positions, 30 positions, uh, we're really glad that you came out here to see us. Just wanted to let you know there's also 100 other people seeking this job. It's like, yeah, forget it. That's why I said this whole thing is just impossible. I was really open to working there. That's why I filled out as many of those things as I did. But honestly, at this point, maybe I'll go to the interview on Wednesday. It's not that far away, at least in comparison with these other places. But it's like, even then, that's what, 4 interviews, and still we're not getting anything from the same stupid group of people. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of being let down. And there doesn't really seem to be any incoming resolution. This is so crazy. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get any better. That seems to be the direction we're headed in. All I can say is, I hope this doesn't last. Because these employers may be having fun with time being wasted, but I'm not.